So I'll be showing you some of the basics of how to use the new app builder that we've created, some of the features of it, how to get a basic application set up and deployed and listed on Marketplace, and just some basic how-tos on getting started with the Kinetics platform. So here we have the first page that we come to once we've logged into the new app builder, and you'll see that there are several columns with images for the application if it's set, the unique rule set ID of the application name, some simple analytics that will be coming in the near future, whether you are the owner of the application or just a developer who has been invited to edit the application. And then you can perform some actions on the application like duplicate and delete. So if you've been using the previous app builder, you'll notice that some of my applications don't have application names yet, and that's because I haven't saved them in the new app builder, which allows the new app builder to see the name. So if this is the case for you, simply open up the new application in the new app builder and save it, and the application name will show up in this list. So let's take a look at our first application and go through the basics of getting it set up. So when you click on the link for the rule set ID or the application name, by default the edit screen will load the application. Here is our nice best bin embedded edit screen. This screen is supported by modern browsers, so Firefox, Chrome, Safari all support this. If you're using a browser that is crippled like IE or Opera, this best bin embedded window will not be supported, and you'll see some text that says this is not supported, and you'll be redirected or asked to use a dumbed down editor that doesn't have all these features. So now that we can see the code in here, I have just a basic application that I wrote a long time ago that does notify on a page. To save an application or a version of the application once you've made changes, you can click on the save icon or use Control S as a keyboard shortcut. You'll see that it had the progress indicator and that there was a green check mark once it saved successfully. Over here on the left side we show that it was successfully saved at 12:22. This is nice. It helps if you don't remember when the last time was you saved, it shows the time, so that's nice. If you happen to have an error in your application when you go to save it, we'll go ahead and do that for demonstration purposes. You'll see the X show up and the exclamation mark triangle over here show up. So we still have the last time that it was saved successfully, but last attempt was with errors. And here we have the error tray, which will be slightly modified in the future. And you can toggle that by clicking on the triangle or using Control E on the keyboard. So I've already got this saved, so we can go over to the Manage page. Here in the Manage page we can change the app image icon. If you're just adding an image for the app builder listing page, use a 120 by 120 pixel image if possible. And if you plan to distribute your application with an information card, use a 240 by 160 pixel image because that's what the information card takes. Here you can also manage who is able to edit the application. If you want to invite somebody to edit it, you can enter their email address and a short message if you prefer. Click send and it will send them an email invitation to become an editor of the application. Once somebody else has accepted this invitation, you can initiate an ownership transfer if you like, and that will send them an email asking them if they'd like to accept ownership of the application, and if they do, then they will assume responsibility for any billing that is associated with that application. So that's the Manage page. We've already covered the Edit page, so let's go over to the Deploy page. We'll skip Test for now because we'll come back to it. So on the Deploy page you can see all the different versions of the application as I've saved it. We have some nice metadata for each version, the version number, the user that made the save, the date that it was saved on. You can add notes or edit notes that are already there, and whether it is production, marked for production or not. So the version number, you can click on the version number and it will bring up a box that shows the code corresponding to that version number of the application. And I did in fact save that version on this date. I can add a note. Now this note is associated with the version of the application. This is nice when you make changes that you want to be able to come back to, or if things are broken and you want to mark it, then that's great. It's also a good way to mark what you're doing if you have multiple people editing the same application at the same time. So with your Kinetics application, we have built the platform so there are two running versions of your application. You have a test version and a production version. The test version of the application always runs the latest version of the application, so in this case it would be version 55 that would run for the test version, and for the production version it is whatever version of the application that is marked for production. Currently we can see that version 54 is marked for production. To set any version to production, we can just click deploy on that version, and it will mark in the system that that version is the production version. So now that we have covered the difference between production and test, let's go back over to the test window. Here we have all the currently supported test endpoints for your application. So right now we have test bookmarklets and test information cards. So bookmarklets, you just drag it up to your bookmark bar. You can click on the source link to show the source. This is the source that's found inside the link in the bookmarklet. So if you're curious as to what's in here, or you want to copy and paste and play with it, you can do that. Simply clicking make card will cause the Kinetics server to generate the information card and prompt you to download it or open it with a corresponding application. So that's how you get test bookmarklets and information cards that run the latest version of your application. Now if we go over to the Distribute tab, we'll see a drop down, and these are all production versions of endpoints. So we have information cards, and I'll go ahead and open these in a new tab, bookmarklets, browser extensions, site tags, and we can move our application over into Marketplace. So production version of the information card is exactly the same as the test version, only difference is that it runs the production version of the application. So when you're distributing your application to users, this is the one that you want to give them. And this is really nice because this allows you to mark a version as production, distribute it to people, have them using it, and you can continue to improve it and make changes without it breaking for them as you're making changes. So once you've made the changes and it's ready to be pushed, you mark the version that you want as production, and then everybody sees the changes that you've made. So this is the information card. If you'd like this image to be different, you go back to the Manage page and upload a new image for the application. Here we have the production bookmarklet. You can view the source as before, or drag up the bookmarklet for yourself, or you can use this anchor tag text to post it in a HTML page, blog post, website, whatever, to share with your friends and family to distribute it that way. So that's a nice option. We also have site tags, which consists of two script tags that you can embed on any HTML page. When the page loads, it will run these script tags, which will then run your Kinetics application after the page loads. There's a lot of fun things you can do with that. Then we have listing your app on Marketplace. So we can click on the link, and I've actually already started listing this one. So you'll see some things have already been filled in a little bit. It looks a little sparse